Rockstar hasn't released GTA 6 yet, but what if you could use AI to predict the storyline of the next GTA? GTA is one of the most iconic games ever created, so I'm pretty much sure that most of the major language models have seen a ton of data about it during their training. In other words, they should have a pretty solid understanding of what is the style of a normal GTA game, and they should be able to give a believable prediction for the next iteration of the franchise. Nevertheless, to help the AI come up with the most accurate plot possible, I wanted to have everything in the immediate context window so that it does not have to remember from the training, but it can tap into the actual data which is right there in the prompt. So I scraped the storylines of GTA 5, 4, and Vice City, and I also added their full Wikipedia plot summary to create a massive prompt, basically giving the AI everything it needs to generate something as close to Rockstar's quality as possible. I also pulled together all the known details from GTA 6 webpage and even manually added some stuff that we saw in the trailer just to give the AI the most complete context. So at the end, this resulted in a massive prompt. In fact, it was so big that ChatGPT literally said that it could not handle it. Of course, I could have subscribed to the paid plan, but instead I just turned to the Chinese. Luckily, they were more than happy to give me a plot prediction for GTA 6 based on my giant prompt. And now I'm going to share that prediction with you. To make it a bit more exciting, I created some visuals with Leonardo.AI, and I also created some AI voiceover using Descript's built-in AI narration features. So instead of reading out raw text, now we have a video which is more cinematic and hopefully immersive and exciting. I'm going to play that video now. We can watch it together, and I will pause it here and there and give some comments and thoughts. So without further ado, let's get started.
Lucia Caminos is released from penitentiary after serving time for a crime she committed to protect her family. Her lover, Jason Duvall, a former Army grunt turned small-time criminal, picks her up, promising a fresh start. But their hopes are dashed when an easy robbery set up by Jason's old contacts in the Keys goes violently wrong. A drug deal they were hired to intercept turns out to be a setup, leaving them with no payout and a trail of bodies.
Okay, so first of all, we know that Jason is connected to these substances. This is not speculation, it comes directly from the GTA 6 website. So when I created the prompt, I basically included this detail because I scraped it from the website itself. Also, in the second trailer, we see a guy called Brian. Now, this Brian is a drug runner. He's using his boat business to move product. And we also know that he gets others to do the dirty work. So given his connection to Jason from the trailer, it's not a stretch to think that he might be pulling Jason into something shady. Maybe even setting him and Lucia up as fall guys for something. But here's where it gets more interesting. In that same trailer, we see Jason and Lucia robbing the same Frontier National Bank. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So it's possible that the score gone wrong actually refers to that heist, but I don't know. That setup feels a little bit too close to GTA 5, to be honest. So honestly, it's hard to say. At this point, anything is on the table. Let's keep watching and see where the AI takes the story.
Worse, they unknowingly steal sensitive data, implicating powerful figures in Vice City's underworld, including corrupt officials, cartel leaders, and a shadowy private military group. Now marked for death, Lucia and Jason are forced to rely on each other as they unravel a conspiracy stretching from the neon-drenched streets of Vice City to the lawless swamps of rural Leonida.
Okay, so it looks like we're going for this Bonnie and Clyde, us against the world type of storyline. That could make sense, but remember, this is not an action movie. It's GTA. Locking the narrative into a rigid, linear action romance wouldn't really fit the series vibe. I'd expect something more chaotic and unpredictable, but that's just my take on it.
As they fight to survive, the pair reconnect with old allies and forge dangerous new alliances. Jason's paranoid friend Cal Hampton provides intel on their pursuers, while Lucia leans on her street smarts to navigate Vice City's factions. They cross paths with Booby Ike, a retired gangster turned legitimate businessman, and Draquan Priest, an ambitious music hustler, both of whom have their own stakes in the city's power struggles.
Okay, so most of this is coming from Rockstar's website. We do know for sure that these characters exist and they have some roles in the game, but even if it wasn't official, it seems very plausible that we would have plenty of characters throughout the game to rely on for different tasks. Like we had Lester, for example, in GTA 5 as our go-to IT guy, or Lamar, Franklin's friends, who helped us with the street-level missions. So these kinds of connections are really core to GTA or to any game for that matter. They make the story a lot more interesting and lifelike.
Meanwhile, Lucia's probation forces her into community service, where she uncovers ties between the state's rehabilitation programs and forced labor schemes run by the very people hunting them.
I do see some inconsistencies here. By our narrative, Jason and Lucia are being hunted at this point. I would expect them to be on the run, or maybe plotting their next move in a hideout, but definitely not be out in the open and doing community work. I think that would make anyone a super easy target. Nevertheless, this is an interesting part. There are clips in the GTA 6 trailer where we see Lucia doing community service, and of course it's possible that she's doing it before the botched heist, but regardless why and when that happens, I do think it could have some implications regarding the story. Maybe not as dramatic as the AI wants us to believe, but there's a good chance Lucia could make some useful connections here, or maybe ends up overhearing something that can lead to some interesting twists in the story. So in a nutshell, I don't think Rockstar would show this detail multiple times in the trailer if it was not important at all.
The deeper they dig, the clearer it becomes. Their botched heist was no accident. They were meant to take the fall for a larger operation, one that could reshape Leonida's criminal landscape. The tension escalates when Jason's military past resurfaces. A former comrade now working for a private military company offers him a way out, betray Lucia, and walk away clean. At the same time, Lucia is approached by a cartel lieutenant who claims he can protect her if she hands over the stolen data. Trust erodes as outside forces manipulate their fears, culminating in a brutal showdown where Jason and Lucia must choose, turn on each other, or double down and burn their enemies to the ground.
I'm not sure if Rockstar would actually take the story in that direction. I mean, I definitely do think we'll see a twist when someone would try to turn them against each other. That said, I'll be surprised if there were a major rift between them. But we'll see.
In classic Rockstar fashion, the final act hinges on player choice. Whether to sacrifice one for the other, go out in a blaze of glory, or orchestrate an against all odds revenge spree.
Okay, so the AI is clearly going for a dramatic end. We can probably rule out the whole go out in a blaze scenario because that would leave us without a playable character, which wouldn't really make sense. But maybe we'll see a similar dilemma like we saw in GTA 5, where you have to choose between killing one character or teaming up for one final showdown. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what do you think, what is a plausible scenario for GTA 6. And that's basically it for this video. If you enjoyed it, also give it a thumbs up. That really motivates me and helps me create content. We'll be creating a lot more videos along the lines of AI automation, AI agents, and all sorts of interesting things that this technology can be used for. So hope I see you in the next video.